Some time following the end of the God Wars and the beginning of the Fourth Age, the gnomes came out of hiding to find all of their settlements destroyed. As they started to rebuild, they found themselves approached by the elven leader Baxtorian with an offer of non-aggression. Seeing this pact as advantageous, they signed, leading to an era of relative peace. While the elves were not a threat to the rebuilding gnomes, the barbaric humans of the area and the goblin tribes that were driven out of the Feldip Hills posed problems. The Thorabshun and Garagashun tribes attempted to wipe out the remaining gnomes, but were stopped by the powers of the mage Glofri, who summoned illusions of giant tortoises to drive them away. Following this, the gnomes were free to rebuild, founding the Tree Gnome Stronghold and later, near to the end of the Fourth Age, the Tree Gnome Village. As the Kingdom of Kandarin was formed and the Zamorakian forces were forced out of the area that became Ardoin, the Khazard forces turned their attention to the gnomes. As the Khazard forces attempted to fight the gnomish forces, the battle was indecisive. King Bolran, the leader of the Tree Gnome Village, puts up a good fight. The gnomish forces seem to be a match for the Khazard forces, if not outnumbering them. By the state of the battlefield, it appears as if the gnome forces may even win. The Tree Gnome Village is surrounded by a large hedge maze, which mostly prevents invasion, alongside their orbs of protection. Here in the Tree Gnome Village today, we'll need to complete a single quest task, that being the quest Tree Gnome Village. We have one skill task to do today, which is to grow an apple tree in the tree patch outside of the maze. For miscellaneous tasks, we'll need to be escorted to and from the village by Elkoi, teleport using the spirit tree, and make a purchase from Bolkoi's village shop. With all that in store for today, let's begin. We've heard rumours of gnomes within the hedge maze here near the Khazard lands. With all the gnomes that are out on the battlefield to the north, they have to come from somewhere. While we normally start at the entrance to a settlement, we'll first need to find this one. We start to make our way down some of the winding paths, noticing hill giants visible above the hedge, as well as a few fountains. It's nice of the gnomes to leave benches all around the maze for tired people to sit on while exploring. We take a few more turns and we're pretty deep in now. How much further can it be? Soon we're attacked by hill giants, we find terror birds and past goblins before finding ourselves at a dead end. Oh dear. We carefully navigate past a bear before finding ourselves walking back the way we came. Turning back around and continuing on, we pass giant rats, take a few more turns, and we're out. Success! Wait, we wanted to get in, not out. Let's ask this gnome. This gnome is named Elkoi, and he tells us that the tree gnomes hide to avoid capture. The Khazard troops are their current threat, but they're not smart enough to navigate the maze. We're gonna try again. Walking back in, we take a few different turns, finding another gnome named Calron, who says he's lost. I guess the Khazard troops aren't the only ones, huh? Following through a few more twists, we find a ladder to a dungeon. We may as well check it out, though we're not armed. Descending into the dungeon, we see hobgoblins. We head into a back room to be attacked by giant bats, and we see zombies too. The other room is filled with hobgoblins and has a jail with a gnome in it. He tells us to leave before we get in any trouble. We've sustained a little bit of damage down there. It's clearly not safe. Just a little further down the path we see Elkoi again, who welcomes us to the village. We slip through some loose fencing and we've made it. We've heard that the king has some trouble and is interested in talking with us, so we track him down. Your Majesty, I'm Citizenscape. You asked to see me? How may I be of service?
I have a matter of serious concern. My people are in grave danger. We are protected here by the spirit tree. In its presence, no creature of dark can harm us, so long as the orbs are in place.
Okay, protective spirit tree orbs, I see.
Yes, that's right. My people are not a violent lot, but we have been forced into endless conflict with the dark forces of Khazard to the north.
The battlefield to the north, yes, I've seen it.
I grew desperate, so I took one of the orbs of protection to the battlefield. I thought it might offer us protection, but I was wrong. It was foolish.
Well, it was worth a try, Your Majesty.
There's more. The orb was taken soon after, and it seems that the power of the orbs only work when they're all together.
So the power they offer is fading here in the village then?
Precisely.
So what can I do to help?
Since you're not a gnome, you can probably make your way deep behind Khazard lines and retrieve the orb. Plus, you'd be a great help on the battlefield.
Well, I'd be glad to help you get the orb back.
Wonderful. My assistant Elkoi will escort you to the battlefield. Talk with Commander Montai there.
Escorted out, we search out Commander Montai. He tells us that the Khazard defenses are too strong for us to just rush in and find the orb. We'll need to work towards it. We're tasked with collecting 6 loads of logs to help make battlements. Rushing to a bank in Port Khazard, we gear up and grab an axe. If we're going to be on a battlefield, it's better to be geared up for it. With our axe, we cut down 6 dead trees in the area before returning to the commander. We hand over the wood and he organises the troops. Once he's ready, he tells us that we'll need to breach the stronghold to retrieve the orb that's locked away in there. We'll need to fire the ballista with an accurate shot if we're going to breach it. He sent out 3 tracker gnomes to get coordinates to make the shot, but they haven't returned back yet. Looks like it's up to us to find them. The first can be found west of the battlefield, though he's not making sense. He seems to be in some kind of shock. We try to get coordinates from him, but all he says is more than we, less than our feet. Okay, hopefully 2 coordinates will do the job. We find another tracker gnome behind the stronghold. He's coping and is able to give us the height coordinate. Another gnome tracker was locked up by the Khazard forces, but we're able to get the information we need. He gives us the Y coordinate and tells us to go. We have 2 of the coordinates, but do we really need a third? What was it that gnome said? More than we, less than our feet. Perhaps it was a riddle constructed by his mind. We has 2 letters and feet has 4. We should try 3. We fire the ballista and the shot goes straight through the fortress, knocking down part of a wall. Finally, Citizenscape got to fire a siege weapon. We make our way back to the stronghold, climbing the damaged wall and being attacked by the commanders inside. We manage to largely avoid them, swiftly making our way upstairs and collecting the orb from the chest. Returning to Elkoi, we're escorted back to the king with the orb recovered. Your Majesty, I have the orb.
It's terrible, terrible.
What's happened?
They came in the night and took the other 2 orbs. They killed so many of us, women, children, even my wife.
That's terrible.
Now we're defenseless. One of their warlords has the orbs. We'll never recover it.
Leave it to me, sire. I'll get it back. Taking on a warlord is going to require everything we have. We grab an attack and strength potion from the bank, as well as our best food. Running across the battlefield and slipping past the fortress, we find the warlord camped near the walls to Ardoin. We try a diplomatic approach, asking for the orbs back, but it's no bingo. The warlord hits hard right away as we drink our potions. He has a lot of hit points and hits pretty hard. He wields a warhammer with the speed of a scimitar and has a shield to boot. Our damage is simply not keeping up with this. Despite this, our food comes in handy and we're able to eat through the pain as we slowly whittle him down. We turn to prayer and either Guthix of the Gnomes or Saradomin, who is against the forces of Zamorak, aid us, turning the tide and allowing us victory. The warlord drops the orbs and we rush them back to the Tree Gnome Village. Your Majesty, I have the other 2 orbs.
That's amazing, Citizenscape. You restored the hope of my people.
The king returns the orbs to the spirit tree, restoring the protection of the village. The king has given us an amulet made of the same stone as the orbs. It has great melee defensive stats and will offer a lot of protection in combat. We can also make use of the spirit tree network to get to locations with the spirit tree. Speaking with the people of the village, they see me as a legend. Take that, Legends Guild, I don't need your approval. Making use of the spirit trees, we can make our way to Varrock's Grand Exchange to bank and retrieve some money. On return, we try out the Feldip Hills teleport since we didn't see a spirit tree while we were just there. I don't recognise this place. It must be beyond the wall to the south of the Hunter area. We'll check this out one day. We quickly check out the battlefield teleport before returning to the village. There's another teleport to the gnome stronghold, but we'll hold off on that. Back in the Tree Gnome Village, we use our money to make purchases with Bolkoi at his village shop. We're still a little bit hurt from the fight earlier, so we buy some cooked meat. The arrows here are only bronze, but more arrows is always a good thing. Now that we're healed up, we take a trip around the treetops, finding the king's throne. Nice. From these treetops, we can see clear over the maze. We can see the way through clearly now. We've heard of a famous gnome out on his own island near Yanil. We passed down the coast, finding a statue of a gnome warrior. Interesting. I suppose the gnomes once spread out this far. This gnome is named Hazelmere. He is said to be a wise gnome who once worked with the king of the gnome stronghold. I wonder what wisdom he can give us. Oh. Well, never meet your heroes, right? While we're still here, we can rake the tree patch near the entrance to the maze and plant an apple tree, paying a gardener to watch it. Returning some hours later, it's fully grown, allowing us to harvest it for apples. We've only recently become a citizen in Port Khazard, but the people outside of the town seem cruel and warlike. Their treatment of the gnomes and the endless war has us rethinking our citizenship there. We've been a great hero to the gnomes here today, and we hope that the orbs continue to provide them with protection. For now, we're going to move on to the gnomes of the Tree Gnome Stronghold. We're not going to teleport there, however, instead making our way to the entrance. I hope you'll join me next time in the Tree Gnome Stronghold. If you'd like a chance to voice a character in the series, subscribe and join the Discord. Links in the description below.